Good evening and welcome to Jackal Garage. I am your host, Mike, and today I am flying solo. Um, for those of you that watch the show on a regular basis, you know Jeff's been getting some tests done and having some medical concerns. He got some great news today, and I'm not going to share it here, but he still needs to take care of some other things. So I'm sure come Wednesday, we will talk more about that. But for today, I am just going to go ahead and kind of jump right in to some of the projects I'm working on and the things that I'm doing. I've got quite a few. Good evening, Adam. How are you doing, buddy? I've got quite a few projects that I have been working on, and I'm just going to get started. So, yo, Steve, what's happening, buddy? How's the shop treating you? Yeah, so let me go ahead and switch cameras. I will blind you all for a second here as I crank on my lights and switch things up to be the kind of person that I am and bring you up to speed on some things. So, good evening, David. How you doing, buddy? Last week we started working on this Bronco, and I spent some time filling in this opening back here, and I had the car beautifully primed, and I was getting all my whites down, and I thought I'd be creative, and I'd use panel liner to line some of the details. And I forgot to clear coat the car before I used the panel liner. And the panel liner just went in and bled into all the paint and just made everything a mess. So I had to strip it. And it was sad. And again, you guys know the citrus strip that I use is terrible on plastic, and it destroyed the plastic that I put in place back here. So this project is going back to square one. I'll got to fix that, and then I'll get it painted again, and we'll get back to work on that. But I did manage to get the Camaro taken apart. So we're going to go ahead and take these wheels off of this so that we can put the wheels onto the Bronco. And this is one of those real riders, and it actually has a metal base. It's a metal frame, metal base, so it won't cut easily. Shop treat me well. It's been a long day overall. How's the day treated you so far? The day, it was good. It wasn't too crazy at work. Just kind of came home. Wife made a nice bowl of steak soup. So took over some leftover ribeyes and put it into a stew. And yeah, so life is good. Thank you for asking, sir. Those clippers just aren't going to get in there. So I'm going to have to commit the sin and use my regular model clippers to get this metal out. Now I want to be careful not to bend the axle on this. Mainly because I still want this. This is going to be a custom car, and I still want it to roll. So, man, they put these metal ones in good, don't they? Lots of new cars coming out in the Hot Wheels world. I'm always excited to get a chance to go out shopping and buy some more. Nothing really to show off recently, though. Mainly what I'm finding is a lot of just regular like muscle cars and things like that. So these are the wheels we're going to use. And like I said, these are rubber wheels because it's a real rider. You got treads on them. David's been working on customizing some wheels for 3D printing. And he's working on putting some treads on his wheels as well. So he knows how hard it can be to deal with treads. So yeah, so that's that, and looks like they're going to be just a little too long, too short. Oh, that one's going to fit just fine. All right, let's get this other one out. I'm just going to go ahead and use my regular snips. I don't like using them, but these metal wheels are harder to deal. These metal frames are harder to deal with. Yeah, it's fun. Well, when you get them ready, David, let me know. I'd like to shy them out and show them off on the show and build you a cool car with them. Also, I want to paint your spaceship. If you guys saw on the Discord channel, David has designed a pretty cool looking ship. He added a bunch of Griblies, which we all now know is a technical term in the engineering field, to his ship. And I offered to paint it if he gets it printed, so need to get on that, David. It's on the printer now. Sweet. And you don't live that far from me, so we should be able to meet up and get that, or I can just meet you at the shop. I hear people outside my house. All right, this one's, being complicated. I don't like complicated. That's why plastic bodies are so much easier to deal with. You can pop these things out, these metal ones. You would think by looking at that thing would just fall right out, but it's just caught, just barely caught on something. There it goes. All right. So got the second one out. Again, those are going to be on the Bronco, and I'll get those painted white. Where is, I think this is the chassis for the Bronco. Let's see how this is going to look. Oh, no, this isn't it. This is it. All right, so I'm going to have to mess around with it, get these wheels to pop into place, and take care of all that. But what I was trying to do is get a general idea kind of how the car was going to look with those wheels. It's kind of sloppy, but that's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to mess with that off camera because that is going to be complicated. Complicated order. This is for this. All right, and then this Camaro body is just going to go in the bucket for a future build. It's a cool body, and what I'll end up doing is just putting on some of David's wheels, maybe when he gets them done. But I'll just put on some cool wheels on this, and I already have a kind of a design for the gun. I want to do similar of what I did with the Volkswagen body, with that scoop on the top with the gun sticking out. I think I want to do the same thing here, but I want to have a passenger sticking out of this back window. But this will be a future build, which means it's going to go into my future build box. I've got plenty of little future build box stuff. Still want to get to this truck. Got another cool truck. Got a buggy. Got another bug. Of course, I've got another Big Air Bel Air. Still got the front end of this. So it's in my future build box now, you guys. Oh, boy. All right, it's a deal. Still have to get around to this. I got so much I've been doing. Haven't been able to hobby for a while. Dang it, Steve. You need a hobby, buddy. break away for a little bit. Hobby at the cash register, if you can. So this is the other car. This is one of the cars I'm building for the shop. So Steve, you'll get to see this car. Over the weekend, I went ahead and got the top half painted red. It's a nice glossy red to match the IOG colors. We're going to put a IOG logo on this and got the engine and the gun tubes painted up. But what I want to do now is the flared fenders. I want to get those painted black. So what I'll do is I'm only going to do it one side at a time so I can hold on to it, get the side painted, and then let it dry. So what we'll do is pull out some of my paint. Where is my black? Oh, dark natural gray, dark blue. Oh, you got to be kidding me. How did I lose my black paint? Oh, here we go. We'll use scale 75 for this. I know I have Pro Acryl, but for some reason, I lost it on my shelf of paint, and that's kind of bugging me. But that's what happens sometimes. Huh. Where did it go? Dark natural gray. Oh, here it is. Coal black. Found it. I prefer this. If you guys haven't used Pro Acryl, I know Adam has. It's just really good paint. I've just kind of fallen for it. And you guys know I'm kind of a painting. I buy all kinds of different paints and use all kinds of different paints, but I really like the Pro Acryl stuff. And also on my free time, I've been working on asteroids. Darren gave me a bunch of asteroids to paint up for the shop for A Billion Suns. So I know David and Adam both got their books. I'm waiting for mine. I guess Darren hasn't gotten them in yet at the shop. So as soon as I get mine, I'm going to start pulling out my fleet. There was supposed to be some solo play rules in a War Games Illustrated. So I need to see if maybe those are available on their website so that I can try to play the game solo just to get the rules down. What scale are those miniatures going to be in? I'm assuming you're talking about A Billion Suns, and there is no scale. There are no miniatures for the game. It is a use whatever models you have available kind of game. So most spaceship games, though, the miniatures, man, they're up into the 1/1000 scale. But look for ships maybe 2 to 3 inches big, depending on the type of ship. Obviously, if you got like a battle cruiser, it's going to be a little bit bigger than a transport frigate. So what makes the game unique for A Billion Suns is you're going to just be measuring from the center of the model, which means if my ships are a little bit bigger than yours on the table, it visually may look a little bit unique. But game mechanic wise, we will be fine because you're going to measure from the center of my ship, and I'm going to measure to the center of your ship. And there are plenty of sci-fi spaceship games. That's what we've done in. Firestorm Armada is one that pops in the mind. We did the same thing. And it does help with any of the scale issues that might come up. Now, obviously, if you get really tiny stuff, it'll just be a visual distraction on the table. Technically, if you really wanted to, Steve, you could just do cardboard printouts. You could just find whatever sci-fi game or sci-fi genre you really like and just print the ships out from a top-down view, put them on the table, and you would be just fine. And I'm not opposed to that. I think that's actually would be kind of cool because there's a lot of great art out there with top-down views of spaceships. All right, so what we're going to do with this today, this evening, is I'm going to just do one side at a time so that I give the paint plenty of time to dry between. So if I touch it, I have a less chance of damaging the paint. X-Wing stuff and make some uglies, as they're called. That would be awesome. That'd be a great use of some of the old X-Wing stuff that you have kicking around. Maybe chop off some of the engines off of an A ship or whatever they were called. They like doing the letters, and maybe put them on top of a TIE fighter or something. You could get real creative with that. I was reading an article today on the Billion Suns Facebook page, and someone said that they actually showed there's an old game from Spartan Games called Dystopian Wars, and they are literally taking the boats, because it was kind of a steampunkish kind of a thing, taking the boats and flipping them upside down and around, like taking the bottoms of two of them and gluing them together and making spaceships. And the ones they showed looked amazing. So there's a lot of creative stuff out there. And again, making your own spaceships isn't a new thing. There's an old game called Full Thrust that we used to do this for. All right, you guys. So this is the black fenders. So I'm really happy with kind of the overall look of this model, because we're going to have the black fenders with the gray and the red, which I really think it's going to showcase the shop colors, which I'm quite happy with. Have you seen the Y-TIE? It's a TIE fighter cockpit with literally the engines from a Y-wing pretty much glued on the sides of it. That would actually look really cool. Actually sounds really cool. And now you got me spinning down a different rabbit hole. Thanks, Steve. With all their different ships and stuff, man, I bet you could do some really cool conversions with that X-Wing stuff. But I have not seen the Y-TIE, but I kind of like the idea of it. Man, that'd be cool. Again, I haven't seen the rules, read the rules, so I don't know all the nuances yet of fighters and frigates and all that. I do know point value wise, there's really not a point value. It's all like corporate contracts and unique things like that, and the game just seems like it has kind of a cool concept going on. It's just not going to be your traditional shoot 'em up kind of a game. It's going to be really objective driven to your contracts, and I'm looking forward to it. So what I'm doing now is I'm working on the bug that we started. When you get the time to look up Star Wars ugly ships, a lot of the designs are great for spaceships, like gas lines and terms and things being cobbled together. I will definitely take a look at that, because that'll give me something new to do. And just like I need something new to do. All right, so this is the Volkswagen Bug, as you guys know. This is going to be my airplane propelled Volkswagen Bug with a railgun on top. We had it primed brown, or like a reddish brown rust. And what I did is I took some of the orange, what do they call it for? It's the Raza Rust from GW. And I kind of just sponged it on around the body where I thought the paint would wear off naturally through weathering. You know, I see a lot of old vehicles all the time, on Bugs especially, tops of fenders, tops of hoods, tops like that get worn off quick. So went ahead and did that. And then I took yellow paint. It's the Army Painter yellow. I think it's U.S. Interior or something like that. Anyways, it's just an off yellow, kind of like a Averlant Sunset. So I took that and I thinned the paint down way heavy and kind of washed it over the body. And after a few coats, it kind of built up some color, but it wasn't a really bright yellow. It was just kind of a faded yellow. I let it dry, and then I took sandpaper, wet sandpaper, a very fine wet sand, like 3,000 grit sandpaper, and just kind of lightly sanded it. Now, it did break through and some of the metal's showing here and there, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I just took a little black and touched up some of it. But this is the look we're going for. This is the weathered look that I am trying to accomplish with this. So what I want to do now is try something new. And you guys know how I like to try new things. So I've used the AK Rust Streaks before on the show. You've seen it. I did it to the Erikenstein conversion that I did, and it works good. It's, you know, you put it on light and you can create some cool streaks. What I want to do though is when I put it on the car, I want to throw a little bit of the pigment powder in there and then streak it. And what I'm hoping to create is a little bit more of a brighter rust streak. This rust streak is dark brown. So what I'm trying to do is add a little bit of color to that streaking. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. We will find out together. But what I'm trying to do is I think the orange popped out too much through here. So I want to streak it down and tone that orange down a little bit. And I'll probably just do it on this door, and maybe I'll put some rust along the insides of this channel right here where the hood scoop is, and just create some other effects. But that is what we're going to do today. So, and today, you guys, I'm just kind of moving through projects because there's quite a few on my desk. And I still got the bus that I'm working on, and I still got the old truck that I'm working on. So got quite a few things that I'm working on here. And just use a little lid here to hold some of the thinner. So I've clear coated the Bug with Tamiya's dull coat. And the reason I use the clear coat on it is I want the paint to be protected. Oh, I must have made a mess because I'm leaving rings of paint thinner all over the place. So let's just leave that on a towel. Boy, that was a mess. So anyways, I've clear coated this because I don't want the paint thinner to break through. And what I'm going to do is I'll get it wet with paint thinner. Then I'm just going to take a little dab of the pigment powder. Put it up there. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the so the whole idea is to keep the brush clean and just be making strokes down. And then with this brush, I can turn it and like clean out sections. Again, I'm just trying to create kind of a rusty kind of look to it. I'm also trying to cover up that orange a little bit. I just think that orange is just a little too much for me. And it's just not quite getting the way I want it. Again, this is total experimentation right now. Oops. All right. I think I'm just going to leave that like that. Kind of see how that dries. I want to add kind of a rusty effect at the bottom. I'm okay if this stays a little heavy. Since I'm just trying to make it look weathered, make it look worn. That's kind of what we're after here. So adding a little bit. It's just going to add a little bit more color to the body. So unfortunately, we're really not going to know how this all turns out until after it totally dries. The good thing is, if I'm not happy with it, I can always come back and clean it up. So here, oh, that left it really good. Again, just wanting that rust to get inside there. Just to add a little bit of that color there. On this side, oops. Let's add some thinner first. Let's see what happens here. do some upstrokes to get them to go to the thing. Yeah. Kind of digging this. Again, I'm not trying to over-weather it. I'm just trying to get some shading or some other colors mixed into the yellow and the browns and everything so that it just has some more dimension or depth. And kind of creating just some different rust look to it. Like it's something that's been out in the desert for a while. Kind of see how this side is drying up a little bit. I'm not 100% sold on that. I think I'll leave it like that for right now. So yeah, that's gonna have to sit from here. I'm gonna add some heavier streaking stuff on the mesh. Just kind of make it look like it's chewed up a little bit and it's older. I think that's going to be about it. Give me a dab of that. Something right there is just not settling well with me. It's like a bright spot in yellow for some reason. So we'll just add a bit of rust splotch to it. All right. This is one of those things where sometimes less is more. So I'm just going to let this sit up, see how it dries, see if I like it. But right now I just got to get all that paint or that this stuff off, because this is basically like enamel stain, and yeah, it can be messy to work with. So all right. Got that done. And whenever I do anything with this type of stuff, I use some inexpensive brushes that I've picked up, because this is like weathering stuff. And I'll use some inexpensive brushes that I picked up or I've had just laying around. All right, let me clean up this mess. See what we can do here. All right. So also last week, we started working on the Volkswagen bus, and we did the window screen. Well, we chopped up this, so I put a plate on the bottom of this. And the reason I put a plate on the bottom is so that this piece would have more surface to glue to when I glue it on, because I can't screw this back together when I'm done, because this is a total chop job. And I'm just slapping a couple bodies together. So I went ahead and did that. I got the screen mesh in the front windows and in the side windows. And because that's aluminum mesh, we kind of squished it down a little bit so you can't really see inside of there, because I don't have an interior for this project. So this is solely going to be, you're not going to be able to see inside. I'm taking the Jeff method of car building and not adding that inside. So what's next for this is I need to finish putting the tracks back together. I took them apart so I could glue everything together. I also need to fill in this backspace here with plastic card. because I don't want it to look all open like that. I want it to look a little bit solid, and that's going to be the weapon for this vehicle. It could be a flamethrower, or it can just be a big gun. And I'm thinking I might add a barrel, just a little bit of a barrel to the tip of it. Because of the size, I could probably just use something out of the 40K realm. But yeah, I just want to use a little bit of barrel. But I wanted this filled in. So that's the next thing that needs to happen with this. You guys saw me filling stuff in last week, though, so I don't necessarily feel that's something I want to do on the show tonight, because that's just you saw it last week. But what we're going to do real quick, though, is while I got this here and I got my tub of parts, I'm just going to go ahead and glue the bottom sections of the... Oh, where'd the glue go? There it is. Just going to go ahead and glue all this stuff back together. So these just kind of go in here. And like this. And then these are just going to snap into place. I don't believe... Trying to think. I don't know if there's a special one for either side or... Oh, not really. Just going to glue in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue them in place. And I don't care if this rolls. This isn't going to be a roller. This is just going to be a Gasland car. So there's got to be something that holds this down, because it's teeter-tottering, as you guys can see. So that means I glued it together. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Not surprising, huh? And something's keeping it from going down all the way. So boy, I messed that one up. What is keeping it from? It's got to be just that. All right. It's just got to be that. The piece there. I totally messed this one up. Let's let me... Like, this one fits perfectly. This one's teeter-tottering for some reason. And I don't really like that. So, welcome to Gaslands, guys. Things go south quickly. I should have double checked these before I tried putting them together, but I didn't, because when I was messing around with them, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, that one went together perfectly. No teeter-tottering. But for whatever reason, this one wants to fight me. And there's something just in the center that's causing this thing not to go back together again. And I don't know what it is. All right. So it looks like it might be these little knobs right there. And that tells me maybe one of these was supposed to go on one way and the other one was supposed to go on the other way. I don't know. Nope. Wasn't that. Let me widen this hole out a little bit more. See if maybe that's it. It's the weirdest thing. Could just be bent. Which is very possible. This was an old snowmobile model that I got in a trade. And maybe the piece is just warped. Yeah, that's what it looks like. All right, so we can fix it. We'll get this in place. And what we'll do is we're just going to glue down the center of the piece. Nothing worse than trying to fix stuff with super glue all over it, by the way. That was terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue down the center and I'll let it dry. And then I'm probably just going to get a piece of plastic card and put that over the front right here where that gap is. Of course, the wheel's really not coming out, or the axle. Or maybe I'll just clamp them together. I don't know. Right now, we just got to let the glue dry. So, sorry about all that. That was a mess. That was a total mess. Total disaster. So this is the suspension for the bus. So we got that glued together. I'll fix that stuff off camera because that is a total mess. And these will have tracks on them, so that'll be pretty cool. This thing's kind of slowly coming together. Each week. So still need to figure out if I'm going to put any other weapons on it. I'm kind of torn about maybe drilling out the Volkswagen emblem and having some guns sticking out of that, maybe a rail gun or something like that, which would be kind of cool. Or maybe drilling out the headlights and putting some sort of a couple machine guns sticking out of the front of that. But for right now, this is just going to be off to the side for another day. And then here's how the rust is turning out. Let me zoom in on this for you guys. Here's how that rust is turning out for this car. The thing is if you don't like some of it, you can, the way it's goes on, you can kind of just take it off with your fingers if you don't like it. If it's too much for you. but right there, I'm quite happy with the way that's looking. And this was the main thing. I just wanted to cover this up. I wasn't happy with how that door turned out. I had a lot of bright orange spots coming in, and I was really just trying to mute those down. I'm happy with how that turned out. So everything else was just kind of added flavor or added colors to the overall car. So what I'll do from here is I'm going to paint the stripe will get painted like a dark gray, and then I'll put maybe a little couple daubs of a metallic silver to kind of show that the chrome is kind of flaked off. Same with the door handles. But what I need to do is clear coat this whole thing to seal all that in together. And yeah, this thing turned out total crunch machine. Total crunch machine. All right. And that had some time to dry. So I think that's just going to look really nice, especially once I get the IOG logo on the top here. I think this is just going to look sharp. So I'll go ahead and get the other side painted. And believe it or not, I'm really not going to paint the interior on this, you guys. The windows are so small on this vehicle that you can't really see in the inside. So they're just going to be left alone. Get some more paint. Get a drink of water. So my hope is maybe by the end of the week, see how much time I get this weekend, have at least this car done. This is going to be a clean build. Just going to kind of show off the car. Did a lot of custom work on this car, believe it or not. With putting in these window braces and the exhaust pipes and everything like that. So this one, I kind of just want to show off the car. The don't breathe phase of painting when you're painting detail. All right. Then we'll get some paint down here. All right. I'm loving it. A non-eventful painting time. I do have a tendency to like chopping the cars up more versus doing the paint work, but it's got to get done. All right. So that's basically how that's going to look. And I can already see I've got a little smudge there that I'm not happy with. It's not. It's didn't adhere to the red enamel that oversprayed onto that. Uh-oh. That sucks. All right, so I just need to let that set. It was having an issue trying. There was a little bit of overspray of red enamel right there, and the black was having a problem covering it. It kind of left like a glob, and that was a situation. So again, trying to mask that off and make that happen was quite a chore for myself. Then we got the bug body. So we need to get some dark silver out. Going to paint up some of the detail stuff on this. And then we also have the chassis for the other car. This is the one where I made the larger exhaust pipes. So I want to get those painted. I want to get the bumpers painted and the rims painted. And this is all silver work. Little drop of silver. So let's start with the bug body. Just want to get the roll cage to stand out from everything. So that way when you see it, the roll cage will pop out. So I'm just going to get a base of a dark silver on this. And then I'll come back through with a little bit of a lighter silver. And make everything look special. So with everything going on, with people being vaccinated and watching the numbers kind of slowly drop, it's possible that our caseload, our new cases per day might even drop below 1,000. Today almost was that, but today's Monday, so weekend numbers are always lower. But I'm optimistic that, man, we can start gaming again. Yeah, there'll still be restrictions, but I don't know. I'm seeing good signs, and I'm just getting a little optimistic. But I just don't know if we're ever going to get away from having to wear the masks in the store. So we'll see as time goes on. Hopefully soon. Yeah, David. I'd really like to hang out the shop and push some little models around. I know it seems silly, but I miss it tremendously. You know, this month marks basically a 1-year anniversary for all this crap. So my wife and I were of all places, we were at Disneyland when all this stuff. Agreed. Me too. Yeah, we were at Disneyland. The weekend we were there during the week, and they closed the Disneyland that weekend, and Disneyland hasn't been open since. So think it's just time. I don't know. We'll figure it all out. I understand shop owners have to be really careful because they don't need to get sued or anything like that. But we'll see. I'm just getting optimistic. I'm seeing some positive stuff for once, even though the news doesn't report any of the positive. To them, all they want to sell is gloom and doom. So, all right. So we're getting the exhaust pipes painted on this bad boy, which those are the ones I extended because I wasn't too thrilled with the ones that were on here. They were kind of square. Just didn't look right. Now I'm just going to make a mess and try to do the interior of the wheels. This never goes well for me. I usually always end up getting the outside of the wheel. So we'll see what happens. And I'm okay getting the outside of the wheel because I can always come back and just touch up the wheels. I already hit it there. Yeah, David, when you make your wheels, just make sure the hubcaps or the rims are defined pretty good. This way, when we go to paint them, we got a good defined line. I know the ones you did had some really cool hub or rims on them. So it shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure you define that line pretty good. All right. And then we're just going to paint the bumpers. And then I'm going to set this to the side for the evening because this is just the base of silver. I'll kind of wash this stuff with a black wash or black ink. And then I'll come back through, do some edge highlighting and fun stuff like that. I'm going to leave that black. All right. So this is done. I can't really touch it anyplace. So wheels are done. I didn't do too bad. I did pretty good, but there's a few spots I need to touch up. The reason I'm okay doing this, I'm going to test print tomorrow. Sweet. Send me some photos, buddy. I'd love to take a look, or put them up on Discord. I'd love to take a look and see what you're doing. Again, send me some stuff. I'll paint it up for you. Then you can put it on your Etsy page and you can start selling it. So anyways, I did pretty good getting the wheels done. And I'm always okay if I get a little bit over on it because I'm going to go through with Corvus Black, which is just a little bit of a different shade of black, a little gray mixed in with it to dry brush these wheels up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so. And then I also want to come in and brighten up these fenders a little bit and do things like that. So. And we got the interior. So for these bug seats, I'm just going to use a light umber. So whenever I do my interior for these Hot Wheels, I always try to use very strong contrast, really bright seats and things like that. That way they stand out. So when you actually look inside the vehicle, you kind of see them. I don't know how many people are actually looking inside Hot Wheels, but people do. So let's go ahead and just do some strong contrast. This light umber. Oops. Left the paintbrush in the wire. Never good. Yeah, David, you're welcome. I'll be more than happy to paint up some of your stuff, buddy. Adam, still waiting on you to get some stuff printed too, man. I know I saw a bucket of stuff at one point. but I haven't seen you do anything with it yet. All right. See, it's that kind of a contrast I'm going for with my interiors, just so that when people see the car on the table, they'll see it kind of pop out. I've got a bunch printed, haven't printed it yet. All right, man. Well, I'm waiting. If you ever need someone to paint your stuff, man, just let me know. I'll put some of your stuff on my cars. Like between Gaslands, Thousand Suns, Gamma Wolves, and now Stargrave, 3D printing is going to become. I don't know if I need to take on another hobby, but man, I might have to pick up 3D printing. It just seems to be the way things are going to be moving soon, especially with Stargrave. If you're not familiar with Stargrave, same guy that wrote Frostgrave and just put it in outer space. It plays differently. It's not just a complete reskin because Frostgrave itself has a lot to do with your magic caster and all this. This is going to be more combat based. So it's just going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of people 3D printing models, and I think you'll start seeing a lot of Kickstarters for STL files for more space people, I guess, because it's just going to be generic space. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, you're probably right, David. I probably should, but man, I barely have enough time to do the things that I do like doing. I haven't picked up my bass in like over a month. And we'll see. Maybe I just need to, if I got one, just buy STL files, print them out, and move on from there, and not get wrapped up into all the resizing and all the other things. All right, so that's the interior. And then when we put it inside our vehicle, let me see if I can zoom in to show you guys. The lighting's not the best, but you can see, the roll bar cage is standing out. Kind of hard to see from the front. Oh, there you go. I just want a bright contrast color so the seats just pop out like that. That's all I'm trying to accomplish. And then again, here's my rust effects. Not too shabby. Now, once I dull coat this, they'll tone down a little bit. So, yeah. Again, this is the joy of that stuff. If it's too harsh for you, you can just kind of wipe it off with your fingers. But yeah, be careful too, because you can just wipe it all away. All right, so that's the interior of that one. And the Bronco again. Let me see what I've got going on here with these Bronco. I might just need, the wheels just might need to be persuaded to go in properly. Oops. But that one just wanted to pop out. Oh, get on camera, Mike. There we go. Most of the files I've seen recently now, some are pre-supported. That makes it faster. Yeah. Well, and I've looked at a couple of the printers. It's just one of those things. I just maybe when I get my income tax check, I might. I just had you popped in. I might consider buying like a $300, $400 printer. Okay. So this actually, one of these broke. I think it was this one. The body broke. And yeah, that's what's going on there. That is what's giving me a hard time. So when I glued it back together, a little piece of glue got in there and is not letting the wheels seat. And voila, I keep popping it back one out. Oh, you son of a gun, Mike. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of see how this is all going to look. There it fits. So that's how, oh boy, I was zoomed in way too far on that, wasn't I, you guys? I'm sorry about that. So that's how this is going to look with the rubber wheels on it. You don't have to rush it though. I watched YouTube and followed Facebook groups for about a year to learn about resin printing before I made the jump. Yeah, I think I'll have to do that. The one thing that discourages me, again, it's another part of the hobby. It's another consumption of my time. And I just have a lot going on with my free time. So if I can get the files and just print and go and not have to get worried about all the using slicer and doing all the crazy stuff, I think I would be more apt to do it. So, and maybe that's where we're heading now with all the the STL files being on Kickstarters and stuff. So yeah, this is, I'm happy with this. This is cool because what I'll do is I'll take these wheels off and I'll paint the rims white. And then the body is going to be a blue teal. And then the camper shell or the top is going to be white as well. Look at some of the newer monochromatic screen printers. They print in about 1/3 the time. Monochromatic screen print. What is? Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. That's something I have not heard about. Are they still resin printers, or is this a whole new technology of printing? All right. Black and white display. Oh, okay. Got it. Now I understand what you're talking about. All right. One of the last things I want to start working on is this truck. So we've, yes, most of the resin printers use an LCD display. Ah, got it. Last thing I want to start working on is this truck. This is another one of the cars for Darren at the shop. And my goal, let me find one of my sticks. Is to insert a couple tubes right here. That is what they start with, basically. A phone display to mask the layers. No, screen which blocks the light better. Okay. All right. Sweet. So it's not a new printing material. It's just a better way of using the existing stuff. I can handle that. So what we got going on with this is I just wanted to add a couple tubes right here. That was the last line. Well, that's cool. For the guns. No, correct. Yes. You're confusing me, David. Uh, so I just wanted to add a couple tubes here for the guns, and I'm just going to kind of glue it straight across the engine. And I just wanted to glue to all the plastic. And basically, the way I'm going to do it is just off the car like this. They also increase the resolution by 4K on some frames. Man, they have come a long ways. I think I may take your advice, David, and just jump on some of the Facebook groups and kind of putz around with it. And then if I pull the trigger, I will contact you guys and see where everything's at in the world. Like brand wise, and support wise, where I should be going. All right. Which will eventually come to all. All right. I'm just wondering if I should cut the headlights out. I'm sitting here looking at this. And so basically, I'm going to have a tube sticking through here, as you guys can see. And Printing Pro, 3D Print Farm are some of the YouTube channels of helpful. Okay. Thank you, David. 3D Printing Pro and 3D. I'll subscribe to them and see. So basically, that tube is kind of just resting on top of the headlight. I'm just thinking I might want to make that headlight more of a bracket. So that way it actually looks like it's supposed to be there. That just hit me in the face. All right. So that lowered it a little bit. Oh. Yeah, that's much better. Just looks like it's supposed to be there. So let's cut those lights completely off. And that just looks more like a bracket than the headlights. So I have more little bits of plastic all over my hobby room floor than anything else. All right. So yeah, now it looks like it's supposed to look like. It's not just a tube sitting. Again, it's the little details when you're building custom cars like this that just make everything look better. So what I'll end up doing is backfilling that in a little bit, and everything will look good. So I am quite happy with this. Show you guys the end result here. I'm seeing things that you're not able to see. So what's going to end up happening is the tube's going to get glued, and there's going to be a little bit of a gap there. Simply because the way I did. Oh, wait, let me double check something real fast. For some reason, yeah, that's gonna work. All right. Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a gap. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'll backfill that gap in with some epoxy sculpt and just make it look solid. So let me get some super glue and cut off a piece of tubing about the size I want. And it fall into the ground. It's okay. So it's going to glue up against the back surface here. And it's really going to touch base right there. Have a good night, David. Thank you for all the insight on 3D printing. And I will definitely be in touch with you regarding that in the future. And when you get that stuff printed up, let me know. We'll figure out a place or a time or something to meet. And I will be more than happy to print up or paint up some of your stuff, especially your spaceships. Really looking forward to getting a billion suns on the table. All right, so kind of the look I'm going to get out of this is my gun barrels are going to flare out just a little bit, and I think that's going to look kind of cool. Kind of like tusk sitting out. Actually, I could just use those as rams. Oh, that would be funny. Again, just some fun stuff with this. And these, like I've told you guys before, like building Gaslands cars don't always have to be using actual model stuff. You don't have to have actual guns on your cars. These are just Q-tip tubes that I save after I use the Q-tip, and they make great gun barrels. So you don't have to have all the crazy implements of carnage and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, I love the implements of carnage set. And I like adding actual guns, but you can get away with some stuff like this. And I think this is going to look just fine. Just a couple tubes sticking out of the front. So what I'll end up doing is just cutting them back, leveling them out. But I want to make sure the super glue has plenty of time to dry. Looks like this one's sticking out just a little bit further than I would like. So now it's just angling it. Killing me, Smalls. I think that works. Let's put the body on it. All right, that works. All right. So what I'm going to do from here is just give it a little extra glue right there and right there. We'll let that dry up, and that should be good to go. So I can start working on that, getting paint on it and stuff. And I still have the spare tire that I yanked off the Bronco. Hold on, I'm putting little bits and pieces off to the side. So I still may add that to the front, kind of give it that like spare tire in the front thing. It's going to be, obviously this all needs to be cut off, but it is going to be a little bit tall, meaning the driver's not going to be able to see. Or I can put it in the back just as a spare tire. I could just put it back here. Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just put it on the back. I don't know. It's just a cool little bit. I don't want to throw it away. I want to do something with it. I could put the spare tire on the front of the Volkswagen bus that's going to have tank treads. That would just be funny. So anywho, that kind of wraps everything up for this evening. We're hitting about the 8:20 mark, and normally Jack Garage, we're on for about an hour and a half. So things I got done tonight. We got some rust effect done on this. I'm happy with how that turned out. I just want to add some more color when I hit it with the clear, and I do some other painting and on the guns and maybe some chipping and detail stuff. It'll all come together and look nice. We got this car painted up, just the fenders, got painted up. I need to clean up a little bit. There's a little you can see right there's a little mistake. So I need to fix that. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. So I need to get the decal on it, get it all cleaned up, and this will be another one for the shop, for Darren's shop there. We got our guns on here. We got the chassis and the interior painted up for 2 cars. And we did a little bit of work on the bus, mainly getting the suspension glued down. Obviously, this piece is warped, causing a problem. So I'll probably just end up filling this with something and just making it look more solid. Oh, hey, Joe. What did you miss? You missed about the whole show. I was just wrapping everything up and going to call it a night, buddy. So, yeah, we got this done. So, yeah, I've got plenty of cars getting cranked out. And got the wheels on the Bronco, which is kind of cool. And start getting this done. So, all right, let me switch cameras here. All right, you guys. Well, thank you all very much for hanging out with me and working on some cars. I'm getting some stuff chipped away. Maybe by next Monday. Oh, that one's just falling off my little arms. Oh, there we go. Maybe by next Monday, I'll have a couple of these done so we can show them off on the show, and I can take some more cool photos with some flame effects or some dust effects, and just have a good time with them. And yeah, so we should be back on Wednesday, but let's wait and see on that one. Like I said, Jeff had some good results, good news from his doctor, but he's still got to go through some recovery stuff or some testing and things like that. So we'll see how Wednesday goes, but I'm pretty optimistic that we're going to have a show on Wednesday. And then obviously we're back for Saturday morning on What's New with Mike and Jeff. This Saturday, I really need to crank on the asteroids. I want to start getting those done. I got 4 sets of them done, but since I finished my buddy's project, it's time for me to really crank on those and get those done and move on to the next thing. That's kind of what we do as hobbyists. So thank you all very much for watching. Have a great week, and should be back Wednesday. So take care and have a good one, you guys. Bye.